Today I am going to talk to you about my Garmin 93sv. I have had this since about March and I am in love with it and all the features it has. I'm not going to be going through and talking about how to read a fish finder. I do plan on doing that in the future, but today I'm just going to highlight some of the features on this fish finder so you can make an informed decision if it's right for you or not. I've taken this all over the Southeast so far, and honestly, I really do love it. Garmin did a great job with this fish finder. It has definitely stepped up my fishing game quite a bit. If you're on the fence about getting a Garmin or any type of fish finder, this is going to be the video for you. Anyways, guys, let's get right into it. So the first thing we're going to go over, there is 8 different sections right here on this first page and then 2 over here on the other. Let's just dive right on into this. So we're going to start with charts here. And there's 3 different types of charts. There's the fishing chart, the navigation chart, and the perspective 3D. Whenever you click on fishing chart, this is what it pulls up. I am currently in simulation mode, so that's why it has, and I'm out on a lake right now whenever I'm actually in a garage. This is a really useful feature, especially whenever you're out on bigger bodies of water and you can't remember if you fished a certain place or not. This is where this shines. You will have a little line showing where you have been in your boat, and this is a really nice feature. Like I said, whenever you can't really remember if you fished there or not, this is whenever this shines, and it allows you to have like a general look at the lake. The next feature we are going to look at is the navigation chart. And this navigation chart looks pretty similar to right here, and it's because not all of it has loaded. But you can see the different types of depths on lakes and your bodies of water. Let me just move to somewhere around here. So this is a local lake around here in Western North Carolina, and as you can see, there is many different shaded areas, and you can use different filters if you want for certain areas. So let's say you want to look between 1 and 5 feet, you can have that set to red, or you can do it pretty much anything that your heart desires. Let's say if you want to fish like 25 to 30 feet, you can also do something like that. And you can have multiple filters, and it is really useful whenever you're trying to figure out where exactly the fish are going to be, and is honestly probably one of the best features on this fish finder whenever it comes to navigation like this. Because whenever you find out a pattern and the bass are at a certain amount of depth, let's say 4 to 8 feet, you can just see everywhere on the lake where there's 4 to 8 feet. And then the next thing is the perspective 3D. Personally, I do not use this mode as much just because it's for bigger ships, but I could definitely see how it has a use, just not really a use for my kayak. The next set of features I want to talk about is under the sonar tab right here. And whenever you click on it, there's many different types, and it can be very overwhelming if you have never used a fish finder before. So I'm just going to kind of go through this kind of in a general sense, and I will be doing a more in-depth guide in the future on this, so if that interests you, smash that subscribe button. But anyways, traditional, this is like your traditional type of fish finder, kind of what you would expect. And these arches are fish, and you can see some sort of structure on the bottom. It's not really anything too crazy. There's definitely some other ones that you can use to get a better reading of what type of structure is on the bottom. But there's a bunch of important information on this. On the side here, you see 2 to 26 feet here, and it is changing. And up here in the left-hand corner, you can see what depth it is currently at right now, the water temperature, how fast you are going, the voltage, and what time it is. You can also set your range up here because there is certain times where you'll want a different type of range, but I'm not going to really go into that today. The next one up is clear view. This one is very structure oriented, and as you can see structure a lot better. You can see fish on here too. Personally, I don't like using it to find fish. I mainly just use this one for structure, and you can see like the different logs and pretty much everything that is on this fish finder. Pretty much anything that is getting a return will show up here. So you can see this is some brush. You can see that this is maybe some bait fish right here. That kind of looks like a rock over there, or some rocks. It is a really useful tool to have, especially whenever you're out on a new body of water, Because let's say you want to mark this brush pile, you just hit pause right here. You click on it, and right here you can set a waypoint. I'm not going to do that, but that's how you would do that. The next one is side view, and this is a side view of where your transducer is. So this line that goes down the middle is where your transducer is currently located. And here on the bottom you can see how far out it is compared to the boat. So it goes on the left and the right hand side. And this is really good whenever you're trying to figure out where exactly the fish are going to be at. You can tell by some of the shadows that are over here. But I will go into that more in depth in the future. I don't want to really confuse you guys. I just want to give you kind of a general overview on what it does specifically. I'll do a more in-depth one later on. And this one is traditional plus clear view, which you can do splits, and you can set your own custom ones too. I thought I'd throw that in there. I use this one quite a bit personally. You can also do clear view plus side view. You can do this one right here, which is traditional plus clear view plus side view. This one is also another one of my most used ones, and it is really nice whenever you are trying to find many different types of structure, if you're still looking for fish at the same time. And you can also pause this at any time, and you can click, let's say you want to click up here, you click on the graph individually, and you can set the waypoint, just like how you did in the other one. And those waypoints are really useful. And then we got split frequency, which is 2 different frequencies, depending on what frequency you want to scan at, and different frequencies will have different types of returns, so sometimes it's better to use one over the other, and I will go over that more in depth in future videos. Like I said, I really do want to keep this pretty general. Then right here is the flasher. The flasher is mainly used for ice fishing and ice fishing related stuff. Personally, I don't ice fish. I live in North Carolina. I really would hope I don't ice fish, just because that would not be good. It would be bad if the lakes and stuff froze over around here. So I will probably never use this feature, but for the people up north, this is a really useful feature to have. I don't personally know too much about it because I don't ice fish, but I've heard from friends that do ice fish, they love this feature. And then if we go over here, this is data graphs. Personally, I really don't use this, and I don't really know anybody who does use it, so you don't really have to worry about that. And then if we go over here again, this is sonar recording. So if you want to record what your fish finder is seeing, let's say if you have a YouTube channel like me, you can record your fish finder and what it is seeing, and you can go over it in real time. And I'll probably be doing something like that whenever I do like that series that I was talking about, going more in depth on the fish finder, trying to help you guys understand how to read your electronics better. So it is a useful feature to have. I'm not going to go over frequently used because that's what I use frequently, and I already told you that. But if we go right here, this is Panoptics. And I do not have live scope set up yet on my kayak. I've been debating it. I might in the future, but as of right now, I do not have live scope. But there's many different types of different live scope views that you can use. There's the live scope forward, which if you look at that, up here is where your boat's at, and it is getting a return off of pretty much everything. And this is all in real time. Now remember, this is simulation mode, so it is just showing like a bunch of random stuff, but you would see fish moving through here. And then if you look at live view down, this right here would probably be a fish if I had to take a guess. I haven't really used live scope, so I don't know, but if it's anything like the rest of the fish finder, I'd say that is probably fish, especially with the moving. And you can have like the depth, and you can see like how far down it is and how far out it is. It's kind of more of like a cone style look at it. And the front view is very similar to that first option. This is a really nice feature to have if you do have live scope. Personally, I won't cover it too much because I do not have it. But you can look at the real view 3D forward. I don't know anybody who uses that personally. It's there though if you want to use it. You can look at the real view 3D down, which is the same but only in a down perspective. And you can see this is different type of structures, I would assume. And then the Real View 3D Historical, which is basically everything you have seen before. Then Actual Live Scope, which this is what everybody is used to. And this is some type of structure right here. And you can see the fish in real time on here. And you can, if I had this going on my kayak right now, it starts from right here. So if I was to throw it out, you could literally see my lure go on this. But it's pretty interesting, and there's something hanging out right here. So that's probably like some bait fish or maybe even a bass. Like I said, it's just a simulation mode. And then perspective. It's pretty similar to the live scope, but it is a much broader area that is being covered instead of just the front. Whenever I upgrade to live scope in the future, I'll definitely do something more in depth. But for now, that's all we're going to cover for that. The next feature I'm going to go over is the autopilot right here. And I don't really use this. This is for bigger ships, but it's there if that's what you're using it for, or if you want to use it just for, you know, why not? And then down here is the different types of combos they have. So combo 1, this is the perspective 3D over here on the right, and the navigation over here. It's not really loading, so I'm not going to really go super in depth into it. It's probably because I'm in the basement and it's not really getting the best signal right here. Here is the combo 2. Which can be useful, especially whenever you're trying to figure out where exactly you are and you want to see if there's different types of fish. This is really good if you want to know where you're at, and if while you're going around trying to plot different areas, you can figure out kind of where the fish are at. And this is not really with structure in mind, but I'm sure there's other ones on here. So combo 3 right here, pretty much the same thing, but you're able to see different types of depths, and it's not really loading, so I'm just going back out of that. Combo 4 right here, not really sure why that one's like that, but it is. Combo 5, this is a good one, especially if you're trying to find different types of structure and you still want to see some traditional like arches and stuff to try to find the fish, and if you still want to like navigate around with the map over here, this is a good one. And this one right here is traditional plus the side view and then the navigation on top, which also has a time and a place, and it really depends on the style that you like to do, and I'm not going to go super in depth on it, but there's many different combos. And this one right here is the traditional plus the clear view, and it has some navigation up top. This one is the side view, traditional, and the clear view. That one right there is personally the one I probably use the most, and I have been using some that are very similar to that. I just like to have it reordered a little bit differently depending on what exactly I'm wanting to do. So let's say I want the bigger one on top here to be the traditional, or maybe even the clear view, and depending on what I'm doing, and maybe not have the side view up here. You can do that. You can create your custom one, so don't think there's not any customization to it, because there definitely is. Then if we go over, these are some other different ones. This is one of the navigation and pan optics features right here, which I personally don't use because I do not have live scope. And this other one right here is the navigation with the traditional and the live scope on it. So if you're running live scope, this might be pretty good for you, but you can create your own custom ones like I mentioned. So the sky is really the limit with how you want to do this and how you want to customize it. This is where you would create your customized one, so that's how you would do that. So then you have the different types of gauges right here, and there's some numbers with some pretty useful information. You can have what type of speed you're going at, your heading, your GPS positioning, your maximum speed, your bearing, and if you go off course. And right over here is the compass, and it'll show you which way you are going exactly, and it has a whole bunch of other features listed off to the side here that are blank, and that's because I'm in simulation mode right now currently. But right here is trip, and you can see how far you've gone, your odometer, your moving average, your total average, moving time, your stop time, total time, maximum speed, and trip fuel used. And I'm happy that I don't have to use any fuel for my kayak. Big plus, so I always stay at 0. Then right here is your engine, which, as you know, I do not have an engine on this, so this is really not a useful feature for me, but if you have it on the boat, here you go. Here you go from Mercury. And like I said, I don't have a Mercury on my kayak. At least I don't think I do. I might, but apparently no. So I don't really use this feature personally, but it is there for you boat guys. You need to have the wind. Personally, I haven't really tried this feature out yet, so I'm going to have to learn a little bit more. I'm actually curious to see how accurate it is. I would assume it's pretty accurate. Let me know down below if you use this feature, because I feel like this just isn't talked about enough. So let me know down below. And then you got the environment, which has the wind and the GPS speed, has the air temperature, the water temperature, the barometer, sunrise, and sunset. So when all those times are, which this one's pretty useful. The next feature I want to talk about here is the Active Captain. So the Active Captain is used if you want to pair your phone to this, and you can't answer texts, you can't answer calls, but you will get notifications. So let's say you get a notification from Facebook, it'll pop up on here. Or if you want to know whenever somebody's calling you, it'll pop up on here so you'll know. Personally, I don't really like to have my phone out while I'm fishing, so I probably will not have this set up, which, as you can tell, I do not. But the option's there for you guys who want that. Personally, I don't. I might set it up in the future, but part of fishing for me is kind of getting that peace and quiet and being away from technology and, you know, everyday stress. So I probably will not set that up. But that's how you would do that. Then over here, you have the media tab, which you can play music through if you have some speakers. I do not have any, so I can't really use this, but it's there. Then you have some different types of settings here, and I'm not going to really go super in depth on these. I might do another video on this in the future, so if that interests you, if you want to know my different types of settings that I have on it, let me know down below. I'll go more in depth. This is just a walkthrough of the Garmin 93sv. So if you are new or you're kind of on the fence about it, I hope this video helped you and maybe answered some questions. And I will be doing a more in-depth video on this. So if you made it this far in the video and that interests you, make sure you subscribe so you guys don't miss it. But anyways, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm going to kind of keep it a little bit on the shorter side. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.